Larry, I'm hungry. What do you say I buy you a Big Mac?
I'll buy.
No, I'll buy.
Flavor Sue buys.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at the most influential commercials to air during the Super Bowl. These are the true MVPs. Number 20, Bohemian Rhapsody, Mountain Dew.
I see a little silhouette of a kind. Mountain Dew, time to do the slam dunk go.
Let's be honest, every time the Scaramouche part of Bohemian Rhapsody comes up, there is a part of us that instinctually thinks Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew. It sounds strange considering how well-known the 1975 song is. However, this parody version gets us so pumped that it feels more like an extension of Queen's magnum opus than a satire of it. The folks behind the ad clearly wanted to trigger excitement, as reflected through the high adrenaline imagery. Watching this commercial evokes the same rush we'd get from a rock concert, and no song is worthier of thunderous applause than Bohemian Rhapsody. It's such an exhilarating commercial that we almost forget about the branding, yet still come to associate the song with a soda.
They will not get the dew, get the dew, we'll get the dew, get the dew, we will get the dew, here we go.
Number 19, Baby, E-Trade.
A lot of people are like, aren't you too young to invest in the markets? And, don't worry about it.
Initially played by Manolo Gonzalez, the E-Trade Baby made his debut over a decade and a half ago. If that doesn't make you feel old, the fact that this baby is now a teenager will. Commercials with babies are usually safe bets, but talking babies can veer into creepy territory. Thankfully, the E-Trade Baby was a wise investment. Between comedian Pete Holmes' voiceover, the imperfect lip-syncing, and Gonzalez's natural charisma, this ad campaign hit the ground running with a mix of cuteness and surrealism that cleverly got E-Trade's message across. Our service is so simple that even a baby can use it. Beyond E-Trade, these commercials demonstrated the power of YouTube, being among the earlier Super Bowl ads to go viral on the platform.
Check it. Click. I just bought stock. You just saw me buy stock. No big deal.
Number 18, Castaway, FedEx.
Hi.
I was marooned on an island for 5 years with this package.
Super Bowl commercials have become increasingly reliant on movie send-ups, some better than others. Roughly 2 decades later, this Castaway parody remains the gold standard. Rather than just reference moments and lines from Robert Zemeckis' film, the commercial produces an alternate ending sharp enough to be an SNL sketch. Having made it off the island, our castaway delivers the package that got him through the past 5 years. Turns out that he probably could have escaped in 5 days because a satellite phone is just one of the helpful items inside.
What's in the package?
Nothing really. Just a satellite phone, GPS locator, fishing rod, water purifier, and some seeds.
Considering that the film had such a life-affirming ending, seeing this commercial go in the opposite direction is a hilarious whiplash. The fact that FedEx was involved in both only adds to the comedy. Number 17, Parisian Love, Google. Technology has changed how we interact with the world around us. In some cases, this creates distance, but in others, it can bring people together in unexpected ways.
I need her to make me some cocoa and tell me that everything that's going badly in my life will sort itself out.
What kind of advice do you need? Can I help?
Examining one's search history, you may find a digital footprint that tells a deeper story. This is the setup for Google's Parisian Love ad, which was released in November 2009 before finding a wider audience through the 2010 Super Bowl. In a triumph of visual storytelling, we focus on a Google search engine inquiring about studying in Paris. Priorities change as a French woman comes into the searcher's life, making Paris their new home. Without even revealing the person behind the keyboard, the audience is swept off their feet in this love story for the digital age.
If I hadn't been Fox Books, and you hadn't been the shop around the corner, and you and I had just met.
I know.
Yeah.
Number 16, imported from Detroit, Chrysler. Any commercial that features Lose Yourself is already off to a strong start.
That's who we are. That's our story. Now, it's probably not the one you've been reading in papers.
Acquiring the rights to a popular song is one thing, but what matters most is how the music is employed. Just as it did in the film 8 Mile, Eminem's Oscar-winning song is an ideal match for this gritty yet empowering commercial. Whereas most Super Bowl ads strive to paint the prettiest portrait possible, this one submerges us in the hard-hitting backdrop of Detroit. It may not be the rosiest locale, but it takes nerves of steel to craft a car with the fortitude of the Chrysler 200. Although ultimately portraying Detroit in a positive light, there's an honesty to the commercial that leaves us with a newfound respect for the city.
This is the Motor City. And this is what we do.
Number 15, The Force, Volkswagen. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, people had to wait until the Super Bowl to watch Super Bowl commercials.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
The Force was something of a game changer. The ad follows a mini Darth Vader attempting to use the Force. After several failed attempts, the Padawan seemingly fires up a Volkswagen, when in reality, his father is having a little fun. Volkswagen knew they had a promising ad, but it ran 60 seconds. With a 30-second spot reserved for game day, ad agency Deutsch had an inspired idea. Why not post the long version online a few days early? It was unconventional, but by the time kickoff commenced, the ad had gained 17 million views, forever entwining social media with the Super Bowl.
I'm basically emptying our account, but it's worth it to have a commercial during the Super Bowl.
Number 14, When I Grow Up, Monster.com. When a Super Bowl commercial is presented in black and white with children talking directly into the camera, you expect something unabashedly profound. This commercial surprised viewers with its cynical edge, however. Rather than reach for the stars, these kids reach for middle management at most, listing their less than thrilling career aspirations.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
In place of seasoned child stars, director Brian Buckley opted to cast amateurs, adding another level of realism to the brutally honest script. In its own way, the commercial does motivate viewers to pursue a better job. Rather than use obvious tactics to inspire us, though, this commercial flips those cliches on their heads. This approach resonated with many, as Monster.com went from an average 1.5 unique monthly visitors to 2.5 million.
When I grow up, I want to be underappreciated.
Be paid less for doing the same job.
Number 13, it's a Tide ad. Tide. The Super Bowl is known for showcasing the most creative commercials on TV. While some ads live up to that reputation, others blend in with each other. Like, how many Super Bowl commercials open with a celebrity driving a car? Our guess is in the 50% range. When David Harbour drove onto the scene in 2018, we expected more of the same. Harbour suddenly shifts gears, moving to other familiar settings like a bar and a ranch.
Or a hilarious beer ad.
What exactly is this ad for? Tide, of course. Harbour proceeds to invade other commercials, demonstrating how any ad can be a Tide ad.
It's a Tide ad.
By pointing out how formulaic a lot of commercials are, this ad created something truly fresh, much like your clothes after using Tide.
So, does this make every Super Bowl ad a Tide ad?
I think it does. Watch and see.
Number 12, Just My Shell, M&M's.
What's wrong with him?
He thinks you're naked.
My shell is brown. It just looks like my milk chocolate is showing.
It's not what's on the outside that matters, it's what's on the inside. When you're a chocolate candy, though, it can get a little confusing if your shell matches your interior. This Super Bowl commercial introduced the world to Ms. Brown, the most sophisticated and intellectual M&M. Ms. Brown's serious demeanor perfectly complements Red's childish antics when a misunderstanding arises. Assuming that Brown showed up without her shell, Red decides to reveal it all. Being an M&M, there isn't much for the censors to crack down on. The commercial manages to be risque without actually showing us anything graphic. It's an ad that works on multiple levels, with kids laughing at the colorful characters while adults ponder, can an M&M be sexy?
So it's that kind of party. Hit it!
I'm sexy and I know it.
Number 11, the man your man could smell like, Old Spice. There is no denying that most of the ads you see during sporting events are directed at men. We'd say that this commercial is for the ladies, but you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who doesn't love the man your man could smell like.
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
It isn't just Isaiah Mustafa's dashing good looks or the smell of Old Spice that draws us in. It's the rapid-fire delivery with lines that are still quoted over a decade later.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me.
This Emmy-winning commercial wasn't targeted at one gender, but rather a generation raised on quirky yet clever humor. Despite not airing during the actual game as intended, the ad quickly became a phenomenon, again showing how the internet can drastically extend a Super Bowl commercial's reach and shelf life.
Sound good? Fantastic. Goodbye.
Number 10. Pug Attack, Doritos. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Likewise, people standing behind a glass door shouldn't tease dogs with Doritos. That last saying isn't as commonly used, but it gained more prominence thanks to this outrageous commercial.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want a little chippy?
Through their Crash the Super Bowl contest, Doritos has allowed consumers to create some of the 21st century's funniest ads. For some, this commercial from J.R. Birmingham and Tess Ortballs will subvert expectations. Others might see the payoff coming. Either way, it's incredibly satisfying, not to mention hilarious, watching the jerky boyfriend get his comeuppance while the dog gets his deserved treat. We also love that the boyfriend is more concerned about the Doritos than his girlfriend's damaged property or his potential injuries. Number 9. Terry Tate, Office Linebacker, Reebok.
Hey, buddy.
Break was over 15 minutes ago, Mitch!
We regret to inform you that Terry Tate isn't an actual linebacker, or person. He's a character portrayed by actor Lester Spate. Then again, this might come as a relief. Now we can go into the office on Monday without fear of being tackled. This commercial and the shorts that precede it foreshadowed much of the humor that director Rawson Marshall Thurber would bring to Dodgeball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
As preposterous as the setup is, we believe Spate in this role. We also believe the pain that he inflicts upon his coworkers, which is integral to the comedy. Just as funny as the physical comedy bits are the verbal smackdowns that Terry unleashes, as well as everyone's indifference as long as they're not the ones being hurled around.
You want to play games, Gene? Well, when it's game time, it's pay time, baby! Woo!
Number 8. Monks, Xerox.
Ever since people started recording information, there's been a need to duplicate it.
By the time Monks premiered, the Super Bowl had been an annual event for nearly a decade. Although there had been prominent Super Bowl ads before, the commercial break was still generally seen as an opportunity to use the bathroom. After Monks, more people realized that the commercials could be more entertaining than the game. Tasked with devising a Xerox ad, inspiration hit Alan Kay in the middle of the night. Calling his partner Lois Corey around 4 a.m., Kay had 2 words: a monk. Played by Jack Eagle, Brother Dominic finds that the days of duplicating text by hand are over, turning to a higher power, the Xerox 9200. It's a brilliant premise smartly executed, setting a tone for modern Super Bowl commercials.
Brother Dominic, how are you?
Could you do a big job for me?
The Xerox 9200 duplicating system, unlike anything we've ever made.
Number 7. Cat herders, electronic data systems.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
When a Super Bowl commercial features cute cats, the work is practically half done. This commercial goes the extra mile, however. The cats might be the hook, but the ad wouldn't be nearly as memorable without the breathtaking Western backdrops or the straight-faced cowboys. Making the ad even funnier, actual cowboys were enlisted to discuss how serious cat herding is without a hint of sarcasm. While most of the cats were computer-generated, roughly 60 were real, with trainers on site. Everything about the commercial's production, from the cinematography to the seamless effects, astounds us. The fact that such craft went into a ridiculous idea is what propels cat herders into the all-timer club. EDS went defunct in 2009, but cat herding remains an eternal pastime.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
Number 6. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers.
Mike, what is your deal, man?
Oh, come on, man. You've been riding me all day.
You're Not You When You're Hungry evolved into one of Snickers' most successful ad campaigns, although it's hard to top the commercial that kicked things off. Part of that is because we went in with no expectations. Seeing Betty White get slammed down into the mud, we were intrigued yet confused. We were even more perplexed when one of the players referred to the Golden Girl star as Mike. Everything falls into place when Mike's girlfriend hands him a Snickers, supplying the boost needed to revert back to his usual self.
Eat a Snickers. Better?
Better.
During the final stages of Betty White's illustrious career, this commercial provided a career highlight that only gained her more fans. The same goes for Abe Vigoda. Alas, Snickers couldn't get him off the hook.
That hurt.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Number 5, the showdown, McDonald's.
What's in the bag? Lunch. Big Mac, fries. Play for it.
A year after helping Bugs Bunny on the court, Michael Jordan went up against Larry Bird with the ultimate prize on the line, a Big Mac. The two square off in a game of horse.
No dunking.
A line that Bird himself contributed. Jordan and Bird keep finding new ways to up the ante, but neither appears capable of missing. By the time they start shooting from a skyscraper, there's seemingly nowhere else to go. Turns out there is, as this commercial received a sequel that took them to space with Charles Barkley. We guess you could call this a tie, but Bird eventually got his Big Mac at the expense of LeBron James and Dwight Howard. It comes full circle like a net.
Great show, guys. And thanks for lunch.
Who's that? I have no idea.
Number 4, Cindy Crawford, Pepsi. From Michael J. Fox to Britney Spears, Pepsi always brings out the A-listers and their A-game when it comes to the Super Bowl. Yet it doesn't get more iconic than Cindy Crawford drinking a Pepsi. Sporting a white tank top and jean shorts so recognizable the outfit could be a Halloween costume, Crawford arrives at a soda machine. Two boys appear enamored by the thirsty supermodel, although they truly have eyes for the sleek new Pepsi can.
Is that a great new Pepsi can or what?
Introducing a whole new way to look at Pepsi and Diet Pepsi.
While Crawford brings a sex-positive allure to the ad, it also possesses an innocent naivety that's sure to leave a smirk on your face. The commercial has been recreated numerous times, including by Crawford herself, but the original belongs to every generation.
This is the Pepsi for this model. And his mom. Hi, Cindy. Show him how it's done.
Number 3, Frogs, Budweiser.
Bud.
You never know what direction Budweiser's gonna take come game day. Will they bring us something silly like... Or will they lift our spirits as they did with the Clydesdale Respect ad following 9/11? If we had to single out the ad that left the greatest impact on pop culture, the credit must go to 3 frogs named Bud, Wise, and The ad simply consists of the frog trio croaking their names, which spells out Budweiser when uttered in succession. It's hard to explain why this commercial works, but the inspired mix of puppetry, sound effects, and quirky humor resulted in an unforgettable Super Bowl moment. It also established director Gore Verbinski's reputation for turning strange concepts into treasure. Number 2, Hey Kid, Catch, Coca-Cola.
Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
For all the memorable commercials that the Super Bowl has given us, only a handful of them involve football. This ad reminds us what the event is all about. Mean Joe Green is looking more like Sad Joe Green following a game. A young fan attempts to boost his confidence, but Mr. Green remains blue. The kid makes one last attempt to reach his idol by offering him a Coke. Chugging down the whole bottle, Green's woes wash away, returning the favor by granting the kid his jersey.
Hey, kid.
Although the ad had aired a few times prior, Super Bowl XIV would turn it into a certified classic that continues to touch our hearts. We cannot help but smile every time we see it.
Thanks, Mean Joe.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, 1984, Apple.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directive.
Super Bowl commercials have seen various turning points over the decades, although none elevated the art form like this masterpiece from director Ridley Scott. Before 1984, commercials were seen as, well, commercials. Rarely did anyone stop to analyze their craft or deeper meaning. As Anya Major charged down the halls of a dystopian society, hurling a sledgehammer at the giant screen that's enslaved humanity, advertising was never the same. This wasn't a commercial, it was an experience cinematic enough to be a short film. Drawing inspiration from George Orwell's novel and films like Metropolis, this ad correctly foretold that Apple would be the future. It also changed how we all look at Super Bowl commercials, inspiring us to think different in more ways than one.
And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Which Super Bowl commercial do you think best hit its target? Let us know in the comments.
It's time for a cold refreshment.
Tie that.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.